Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you today with an awesome weekend figure review. Today we are going over the DC Essentials Red Hood, and I'm so happy to finally have this figure in my collection, guys. He looks absolutely astounding, and we'll get into why I chose this one over the Mattel DC Multiverse version, because yeah, there's a pretty big reason, but we'll get into it anyway. But if you want to pick this particular figure up, I saw that he is available on BigBadToyStore.com. So if you want him, he's there for a good price point right now. And as you can see here in this beautiful window, we get Jason Todd, and you can see all the awesome accessories he comes with. You flip it to the side, you just see the number 18 and the cool little DC Collectibles gold stamp there. You flip it around to the back, and I'll make sure to pause it where you guys can have a read up on this, since all the figures that are coming with it. Flip it back around to this side, and it says Red Hood, number 18. Awesome product shot there. Bring it back around to the front. You see Jason there again. You bring it down to the top, and I love that red logo that they use there. Very, very beautiful. You flip it around to the bottom. All that legal stuff nobody cares about, but what we do care about is Jason Todd an awesome figure or not. So let's go ahead and get him out of the packaging, and let's take a closer look at this bad boy. And here's Jason Todd out of the packaging, and I have to say, guys, this is probably one of the most definitive figures that the DC Essential lines has released. Now, second to this one, I would have to give it to the Nightfall Batman that we already went over. Love that one, but the only thing that gets a strike on that one was the no accessories and just the fisted hands. I was just kind of like, oh. But it breaks my heart that DC is no longer doing the DC Essentials or Direct lines. They're canceling those, and I think McFarlane's going to be sticking with the line, which is okay, but man, some of these figures are just absolutely beautiful, and Red Hood is no exception. As you can see here, you get him into an action pose on a stand, and oh man, just an absolutely beautiful figure, and the possibilities are limitless in terms of toy photography or just posing them on a shelf with a fancy little light, just like how I have them here. It's gonna look so great. So with that said, let's go ahead and get him off the spinner here and get a closer look at this beautiful figure. So Jason Todd's backstory is really interesting because he was first introduced in Batman 357, and his backstory at the time was he was had the same Dick Grayson origin story. He had blonde hair, was an acrobat, I think for Hadley's Circus or Haley's Circus, I forget what that was called. But yeah, then his first full appearance as Robin is, I believe, Batman 366. Now here's where things get interesting, because after Crisis on Infinite Earths, they kind of rebooted a lot of the backstory. They kind of stopped making Batman kind of the corny Silver Age and whatnot, and they reintroduced Jason Todd in Batman 408 as a street rat that stole the wheels off the Batmobile, and Batman took him in off the streets, became Robin, and that's where we found out he had a really bad chip on his shoulder. And from what I understand is during this time period, fans hated him. A lot of them saw it as kind of a slap to the face with Dick Grayson donning Nightwing and kind of leaving with the Teen Titans. Others, I think, just didn't like his attitude compared to Dick Grayson's, more happy-go-lucky persona. So I wasn't around during that time period, so I can't tell you. But they later did a story arc called A Death in the Family by Jim Starlin. Amazing, tragic story. Runs through Batman 426 through 429. Joker beats the living tar out of him with a crowbar. What I kind of thought was interesting is DC left a 1-900 number to ask fans if they wanted Jason Todd to live or die. So they had two endings mocked up for living or dead, and the fans chose death for Jason Todd. So he was gone for a while, really messed with Bruce, and that's what really kind of made him hesitant about taking on Tim Drake at the time. Now he returns, and under the Red Hood, beautiful story. A lot of reading, and if you want to skip the reading, they did do a movie of it, and I love that Jensen Ackles, I think that's how I say his last name, from Supernatural, did the voice of Jason Todd. Awesome. Now, he was a villain during Grant Morrison's Batman and Robin, Grant Morrison really went crazy with him at the time, but I love that when they, after Flashpoint, Scott Lobdell, one of my favorite writers, took over and did Red Hood and the Outlaws and kind of made him more of an anti-hero with Starfire and Arsenal, who was the original Speedy from Green Arrow. So that was some awesome reading. And then his later story that they were doing, I can't remember, I think it's Dan Jurgens, I'm not sure, let me know down in the comments, but it's called Red Hood Outlaw, and oh man, is he brutal. So yeah, definitely some amazing reading for you guys. But with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at Jason Todd's accessories before we get into his paint apps. So his guns, as you can see, fit really well into his hands, which I really appreciate. So we're going to put old Jason off to the side here. And we're going to look at one gun because they all kind of look the same. Get a close-up on that bad boy. Focus! And so I really like that they did that gunmetal gray. Looks really, really nice. I like that they actually made sure to put the trigger in there. And what I appreciate about this figure is see how there's that little snap in the gun chamber. I forget what that's called. The trigger guard. Thank you. Is so it doesn't snap when you put the finger of the figure in there. Say that 3 times fast. So I like that they kind of gave it a little bit of a give there. I kind of wish they would have maybe made that a little bit black, but whatever. I like that the chamber, or I cannot think of gun parts right now. Right here where you cock it, I like that looks nice, has a nice little grooves. Hammer, I forget what this part of the gun's called, but so you don't get your fingers pinched when this part comes back. And the receiver, I think. And of course the black here. Looks really nice. So it's kind of a simple gun, but good stuff nonetheless there. Beautiful gun. Now he does come with 2 punching hands, which I don't care about. Red Hood is a shooter, but I do like that they made sure to put those metal knuckles on there, so you know you're gonna get a punch, and oh man, you are gonna feel that. And it's just really nice black, and then the silver, and then a little bit of black wash on those, and the lines like right there on the top of the hand there, just great work. I mean, look at that line art, that is beautiful. But yeah, I have not used these punching hands because he's gonna hold them guns, man. So good hands there. And then of course, as you see on the figure, he has his trigger hands, which is what we want for our Red Hood, right? So yeah, good stuff. And I like that what they did here on the gloves is they made sure to give a little bit of flesh paint right there to show where it differentiates between the jacket and the glove there, so you can't really tell the difference. Looks absolutely great. I love this helmet. It has that really nice metallic red, and as you can see it shimmering beautifully in the light. And I like that they put a little bit of black under the eyes to accentuate that black there. Made sure to show the little bits of like, what do you call it? Technology, I guess you want to say. That kind of has that little bit of a mecha feel to it. Looks beautiful. Love how you can see the muscle texture there on the chest. This is a soft plastic, so you get a nice blood red bat there on the chest. That gray just looks great all through the figure with a little bit of I think there's a little bit of black wash in there. You know, they didn't put a whole lot of shading, which I appreciate, because if you do toy photography like I do, you don't want shadows already on it. You want to make your own with the light. So as you can see here, you get that own little bit of it already going on with the figure. I like that belt. That belt's really fancy. You got a little bit of black wash going on. And then of course, just the black all the way around with the lines. I like how the coat comes up in the back, again, soft plastic, so you can pull it up just a little bit so you can put like a stand under there. And of course, they have the little frizzles. I don't know what that's called on a jacket. And then just great stuff. And I like that you really can't see the imprint of the legal stuff. I really like that they made sure to get that out of the way. And then these guards on the feet look great. I love that gunmetal gray on there, especially on the tips of the feet. Very much akin to the new 52 Red Hood, which I think is a really nice figure. You got the black on the feet. And I just love this line work where it's supposed to like connect on the boot. Good stuff all around. And then I like how there's play in the gun holsters, so be careful nonetheless, but see how that kind of gives and takes just a little bit. Let me get more of a focus. Focus! And just, it does not take away from anything. And then what I actually appreciate is the fact, put his arm up. You can kind of pull it out a little bit. That the guns fit in there. Oh so nice. Just bloop. And a bloop. So yeah, look at that. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Yes, this is what we want. Makes me so glad that I skipped on the DC Mattel Multiverse version. I was looking at a review on it. The only thing that I want from that figure is the head. Someone told me that you could swap this head out with the one that has the red bat mask in his hair. So I may try to see if I can find the head online. Love that popped collar. Good stuff. Oh my God, they just really did an amazing job putting this figure together. I cannot gush over this any more than I already am. It is an amazing figure, guys. Oh, beautiful paint apps. So with the paint apps out of the way and just look at that coat. Look at the way you can see the muscles brimming underneath and the way it just correctly, shows the ripples in there. Oh, okay. With that said, let's go ahead and look at the articulation of this awesome figure. So the articulation is just as equally awesome as the paint app. So let's go ahead and start with the head. The ball joint is a little tight, so you got to be careful. But see how you just gently work it down, because these essentials, if you try to mousse it, you're going to break it. So for the love of Alfred, be careful. So you can see you can get him down, his head down that much, and just ever so slightly, just get a nice looking up motion, because that ball joint is tight. That's why I'm just holding it ever so careful. And then you get a little bit of play that way, so that's good. This way, and then it kind of stops by the collar, which is okay. Looks good, looks natural. And I think you don't get a whole lot of head pivoting that way, so it is what it is. Arms can go up about that much. I like that it, how much it goes up this way. And then if you need to, goes up that way as well. Good stuff. Double jointed elbows. Now, what I really like about this figure is I like that they added these little pieces here. Just see how it kind of rounds off. So it looks more natural, even though, of course, you're going to see the joint here. Just the way that it lines up just really looks good. It does not detract from the figure, so you actually get some nice, more humanistic looks there. Good stuff. And then, of course, get the upper bicep swivel on both arms, and they go 360. So good stuff there. The ab. Again, be careful. I always try to grab it this way. Down about that much. Back that much. That much that way. That much that way. Hands. Swivel that much. And then ratchet, or however you want to call it, that way. Good stuff there. Feet kick out that much, so not too bad. I mean, almost parallel there. Looks good. Back, not so much, but that's all right. And then legs can go out about that much. And even though the gun holsters here, they don't move natural like an actual gun holster would, that doesn't bother me too much. I just like that we actually get that much articulation on the legs. So good stuff there. Then he has the upper thigh cut. No boot cut, that's all right. He still has great articulation. And then, of course, what we all love, double jointed knees. And again, same thing, just looks really natural, especially the way they put that kneecap there, just looks good. And then the feet, about that much that way, that much that way. Now with the essentials, I was reading is that they are on what's called a ratchet thing, which makes their feet a lot more loose compared to the Legends. So after a while, and this is kind of how I reference with my Batman, and this is true for all the essential figures, is if you mess with the joints too much, they do tend to get loose. My Superman is super loose. So if you guys know how to tighten up these joints, let me know. I'd be very much appreciated. And as you can see, we get some really good play in them nonetheless. So good ankle pivoting there. So good stuff. As you can see, beautiful paint apps, great articulation. And see, I'm kind of having a little bit of trouble posing him now. That's the only downfall there. But nonetheless, gorgeous figure overall. Size comparison-wise, he does look a little bit smaller, but I can't complain. Here we have the DC Essentials Harley Quinn, the new McFarlane Toys Multiverse Joker from Arkham Asylum, the DC Essentials Nightfall Batman, which I'm absolutely in love with, and then of course the DC Essentials Deathstroke, that all these figures that we've already gone over. And next to him, even though he may look a little bit smaller, you start playing with depth of field a little bit. So like, so you bring him forward just a little bit. It's not going to look bad, especially when you're doing photography or the way you set him up on a stand. It's going to look fine. And you just put him this way and you can't help but gush and get that fanboy feeling going on because you have all these characters in kind of a classic comic book look. Yes, Slade's kind of more rocking the gray here instead of his traditional Terminator blue. That's neither here nor there. I think all these figures are beautiful, and I can't wait to start taking photos of Mr. Todd here against all of them. Mentor, Tormentor, and then just someone that he can't stand on both sides. So yeah, guys, these are some figures you definitely want to pick up. I highly recommend all 5 of them because they are just so beautiful. What are your thoughts down in the comment below? So I have to say, guys, I give this figure a 9.5 out of 10. I'm going to miss the DC Essential line. But I have to say, at least while it was around, it gave us some beautiful figures. And I think they really broke the mold when they did this figure because this Jason Todd is so amazing. You guys really want to get this in your collection, especially if you're a big fan of Batman and the Bat family. And if you haven't read that Red Hood Outlaw series, definitely check it out, y'all. It is something to behold in terms of him just going full on brutal. So yeah, if you guys have enjoyed this figure, as I always say, please first and foremost check with your local comic shop, see if it's in stock. If not, then you can check out the places that I've already mentioned. And if you guys have enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate it if you take a minute to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you can possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little bat bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we love to have a dialogue and hear your feedback down in the comments below or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description below. So stay tuned for the photo slideshow here at the end. And with all that said, I hope you all continue to have an bat-tastic day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.